Mega Evolution demand skyrockets after supply shortage news. So I'm referencing this video from Nostalgianomics. I think other people have talked about it too. But Mega Evolutions is being released in waves. So they're apparently he said like 60% is being released that they printed in the first wave. That's going to be released on the September 26th, so in about a month and a half. And then the second wave will release later on. I don't really know when. But yeah, I've been noticing the supply spike, the demand spike. It was hovering, it was getting to like the 60s. And I noticed like when you get to the hundreds, it's really hot. So 100 to 160 to 250. So even at the $100 mark, 100 box mark, it doubled in just like days. So yeah, we were buying a lot of this. And yeah, I do agree with his take that there will probably be sort of like buyouts and sort of like price short-term price rises at a minimum, just because there's going to be less around and people are going to want to open it. I don't know what effect that'll happen in the market. Apparently this wave thing hasn't happened for a while. But yeah, watch this video if you want more information on that. But yeah, man, it's getting crazy. Also, these booster boxes are like the most affordably priced since I do the price per pack. Um, 650 a pack, and honestly, that's about the price of a normal booster box. Like any other booster box is about that price anyway. It's not really the worst price to get. But you're not guaranteed to get the product always, though, if you do buy from people. The demand for other products not as much rising. So you see, ETB sold 9, but still kind of level where it was before, just a little increase. PCTB sold yesterday 1, yesterday 0, and then 1 today. So it's been selling a little more. But people have been buying a ton of it. It's pretty expensive. Booster bundles a little more concentrated amount, but only like 5 are selling. And then these cases sold another one yesterday. But seriously, like um, booster boxes are the cheapest, so they make the most, and people love booster boxes. 151 hysteria increases. So I mentioned that the PCTBs would go to $1,000 pretty soon, and then they kind of stagnated in the 870s, and now they're up $87 overnight. So I didn't fully see this coming. They were yeah really stagnant in the 870s for a while, and now you see over here, 967, and it only and I told you it doesn't take much. Like 4 sold yesterday, 1 sold today, and all of a sudden we are hitting close to 1,000 all of a sudden again. I don't know if we'll actually reach 1,000. Like a lot of times we get really close to 1,000 and then they pull back a little bit, but we might actually really see it hit 1,000 finally. And like I don't even know what this thing is going to be at the end of the year. I really don't know. The supply has dropped a lot of times. It was getting to high 30s or mid 30s. Now it's at 26 again. But as more people buy these, like there's not a lot of these out there. And I don't think they're going to reprint these. If they reprint these, it's going to go crazy. But even then, people are probably just going to pick them up. So that's 151. Also, these 151s that the packs have been selling like crazy. I think it's increasing. So 176 packs sold um, yesterday. And what I've been seeing is that, like, if I remember correctly, because these graphs aren't always accurate, but yeah, I do see over here, like the last couple of days at least, these numbers aren't accurate because there's actually a lot of other listings you have to add up manually. But it's been like 170 if you add it all up, and then like 150, and then like in the 100s. Like I think in the last couple of days, at least it's been selling like 100 packs per day. And so the pack price has risen to like $11. Let's just see what else there is, and there's still a number of packs around 11.25 or whatever. Like there's still blowing wars out there. It's pretty cheap, so not too surprising. But yeah, a lot of packs have just been being bought for 151. Bundles have also been selling well, so a lot of times the graph is broken here as well. Um, and so I had to make up for T-sheet players. Like, kind of, I don't know why these keep breaking, to be honest. But yeah, they were in the 30s a lot, and then when I added it recently, a lot of days, like there were a couple of days in the 60s, and then today is like 45. There's some around 40. So the bundle demand's been a little higher. Right now, like you do see like 77 is like pretty much right there. This Timo LLC has these for about that's also about 77. So yeah, these are around $77 pretty commonly, and they're just gonna get more expensive. I don't know. What else has changed for 151? So ETBs are up $6, so they crossed 300, up back above to 307. Bundles check up $1. There are some drops, like Bloom Waters dropped to 122, so down 8. So ETBs, they sold a lot. Like ETB demand has been actually increasing a lot. I didn't really notice this, but you see, the price has been rising. But you also look at the bars, like the bars kind of like go upwards. In that I guess over here is a little. It goes like it's about that high, and it goes to about that high, and it goes about this high recently. So 14 sold yesterday, and let's look at the sales for that. Yeah, not it wasn't just one seller. It was just they bought a lot of the ETPs for 300. It's heading toward 315, 320 now. ETPs generally rise really slow, but all of a sudden we could be seeing them go like rise a lot quicker, 340, 350, and whatever. For the bundle displays, they didn't sell yesterday, so the price went down a little bit, but they're still, as expected, doing like quite well. Um, in the 1200s, they were in the thousands before. Or 1100s, I don't fully remember, but yeah, so doing pretty well. 1250. This is usually a normal distance away from trading card world, usually around 100 to $150 away, sometimes 200. The extreme case. UPCs, they sold one yesterday. Um, Look at the price. They could jump all the way to 460, 470. Posters sold four yesterday, and yeah, like really take advantage of this supposedly lower price for posters. Otherwise, they really are essentially almost $40. Mini tin displays sold one yesterday. Um, these are heading around 250. Binders sold zero yesterday, so around the same price. These bundled this. Oh wait, actually, that's the case. I forgot to close. And then Blooming Waters. Let's look at that. So 16 sold yesterday, so you saw it kind of drop down the man a little bit. Now it's back up to 16. Um, yeah, like again, a lot of people are getting their Blooming Waters, so a lot of people, some people are just selling them. They're probably just immediately flipping it, and I see it go back to about 130. Um, and yeah, a lot of them are on 130. Psychology with Blooming War is that a lot of people are just like it takes too much space. So honestly, even if you don't have the space, possibly get for the loose packs. Alright, Crown Zenith. So the prices for yesterday are about the same, but I'm going to tell you the activity. So another case has been selling, has sold yesterday for about 2,000. I've been looking at this case for a while because there's a good amount, a good jump from the next one. I think the next one was actually about 2,500. This recently appeared. And it seems like every seller is kind of jumping at least about $200. You see about 20, 300, 25, 28, 3,000. Like it's about $200, $300 jumps until here. And I think this is going to keep happening until as the price rises, because around $2,000, about $200 per ETB. I've been talking about Crown Zenith like being on the rise. Like if the normal ETBs are only about like 184, 185, sometimes they go to 190. Getting a case isn't that much worse. Like the premium isn't really that high at that point, and people are just kind of like they're just waiting until the price rises to buy these, and this is gonna keep happening. That's why a lot of like good investors, they just kind of buy earlier when there's time. You kind of want to have time. Another thing with cases is that the bundles have suddenly appeared. Like this has been there's been no listings for bundle cases at all, and one appeared at a really high price of $3,000. The previous bundles sold for about 2,000, and this is the 3 month graph. There's been no available, but this is the 3 month graph. They sold around the June to July timeframe. Let's look at the 1 year. Yeah, this was sort of the range. So I guess it's like kind of 6 months. This was March to July is the only time you could really get these on TCG Player. I did the math on that. So like at 3,000, you at 3,000, and there's 20 bundles. That's 150 each, $25 per pack. Another interesting thing. So Sea and Sky is definitely heading toward 180. So I've been talking about what has since the price per pack has risen, these have to rise, and yeah, you're starting to see 180 here. This is almost 180. So there's only really like two Sea and Skies that are left below about 180. So this is definitely about to rise, and it might rise even after that. Like even after these 180s over here, Jam Seekers has quite a few. It goes to about 180. 182. So watch out for that. And you head to 190s. When I did the math on that, so I just used today's pack price 1320. It's actually probably going to get a little higher than that, but that times 14 packs for Sea and Sky gets 185. So that's kind of the minimum target price for Sea and Sky. But before the price rise for Crown Zenith, you see that like so this is when Crown Zenith was still about like this was the jump to $13. This is when it was just below $12. So you see the difference. There was at least like a 40-cent difference. So it actually will probably rise a little more than that. And the pack price for Crown Zenith is I forgot to mention, but a lot of Crown Zenith packs were sold today. So 104 packs, only 5 sold yesterday. And That's a lot of packs for Zenith. And what they did actually is that there's a seller around 1350, 1345, which is kind of putting a threshold on the price around that price. But they had like about 160, 180 packs, and someone bought like bunch of from that listing, I believe, because 1345 is the same price. I think if it says 18 pack minimum, then yeah, 18 pack minimum, so it is the seller. So people bought that one, even though it was more expensive. People bought 40 of another one, so a lot of packs sold today. Only like about five sold yesterday, so pretty low yesterday. And you're just gonna see like there's not enough supply or at the lower prices, and this is gonna go up. And so CN's guys gonna probably go up even more. And then for other things, ETBs they sold six yesterday, so actually ETB demand is kind of rising. As people are trying to get the cheaper supply. They are essentially like 180, 190 still. And actually, what I see is I think Drew's Gaming actually got rid of their ETBs, so we're just trying to get rid of these smaller sellers, kind of. And the booster bundles, they sold finally one sale today, and now there's one, two, three around 105, goes to 106. That's 107. It goes to 110. All right, prismatic surprise boxes. So these cases I've been selling more recently. I did notice this a while back when I looked at them. I do check cases periodically, and this is pretty decent cases, man. Like three sold yesterday, three sold today, one sold yesterday, one sold the day before. But honestly, and there's only they sell about every 3 days ever since August 4th. The price for this one is about I think 55 ish, if I remember correctly, for a single one because it's 320 divided by six. There's actually seven of those, which is pretty cheap. And then you get to the next one's like 350, 380. I'm guessing people bought a lot because of the lower price. Actually, this one's about 400. It's pretty expensive. Surprise boxes also went up in demand. I don't cover these anymore because the price just kept dropping. But suddenly 31 were sold. When I looked down, I was surprised. I was like, wow, they're down to like 40, the low 40s or high 40s. So this is about 46. This top one, there's three of them. Otherwise, it does go back to about 50 or so dollars for 48, which is a little more normal to before. Other case stuff is that these tech stickers, I just looked at the case to see what had recent sales. I had a couple sales before, so one sold yesterday, one sold the day before. Yeah, like these have the sealed displays, which I think will also have some value considering how Prismatic has been pretty cheap. But that's $400 divided by 12 is I don't feel like doing math. 400 divided by 12 is 50. Wait, what the? Oh, is $33 for per pack, which actually isn't that bad. $11 per pack, so it's actually not too bad. So I think some people are trying to get these for long-term investments, also just to have them. Prismatic ETP cases themselves have didn't sell yesterday. They picked up demand. They're actually still dropping, so now 1340. They're not really dropping like dependency or anything, but people don't buy them every day, so they've been kind of dropping a bit. I mean, they were at like 1200 before, so and there is a reprint. Like the ETBs um, are down to 100, it doesn't help. But ever since it went down, there's been more demand. So you do see 58 sold just yesterday. 11 already sold today, and there was that big, the largest amount at 81 a few days ago. So still seeing a little more supply at around 100 to 101. So there's about 10 of them. It does get back to 105. That's kind of really fighting that 100 to 105 sort of territory. For Prismatic, other things, Super Premium is up $11. There was a cheap one posted yesterday. Yeah, bundles are down 65. They're down $4. PCTBs they went to 303 and kind of corrected a little bit back to 296. Not that big of a deal. Number of packs sold was 54, which is kind of like okay-ish. So Super Premium Collection has been selling okay. 7 sold yesterday, 11 sold the day before. And we're still pretty hugging the 225 mark. There's a little bit more cheaper ones for them at 220. Yeah, otherwise, I think we're gonna head to 230 unless there's like some reprint or something. I know that CS Guy thing is kind of appearing for Prismatic. Um, Bundles, yeah, had a lot more demand. So 57 sold yesterday, 84 sold day before. Kind of same exact pattern as ETBs. And yeah, they went down to 65, but there's not that many of them at 65. It goes back to 70 pretty quickly. So that's pretty interesting. Um, And then PCTBs, they sold um, 10 yesterday, and the price went back down. There's just two of them listed. Otherwise, it goes back to 300. I think 300 is a pretty stable price right now, getting to 310 and whatever. So these had a pretty good. Like if you bought at 220, pretty good. You're up like $100. Um, Packs are still around, 10-ish dollars, 10, 15-ish, whatever. These bundle displays sold. They haven't been selling. Another seller appeared that listed it really high, but yeah, no one's been buying these 1250 ones ever since. They've been the only seller left. Binders, they demand, it looks like they're still selling about 5 per day, and yeah, we were still inching back toward $70 actually. There's about 8 of them, but I'm not sure. Like there's kind of a struggle, 65 to about 70. But yeah, there was that drop. Um, these Maton displays, like honestly, when these things kind of sell out on like start selling out a little too much, and if they don't reprint these, people are gonna be really regret not getting these. But yeah, still there's a ton of supply around the 215. Destined Rivals still seeing good momentum, so the prices are down a little bit, but barely at all. So bundles are down $1 or $2, and PCTPs are down $1. So bundles, that's actually really cheap. I'm gonna see a supply of that. Maybe that's just a cheap seller, but $8 a pack is really cheap. Otherwise, yeah, cases are still 345 a box. Versus booster box about 305, but we're still seeing demand be really good. See another about 20-day sale. 20 quantity sales. So 19 sold yesterday, 14 sold the day before, already 4 sold today. And yeah, you'll see some sellers who just put up like, a case worth amount, or 2 cases. It's 2 cases, so 12. And then you do see like, other than that, these sellers have a couple around 307, 305. Then you do go back to like 313, 314 pretty quickly. So this keeps happening. People buy it up. Like there's enough supply out there that people really do buy up to $305 boxes. Some people even pay the 313 price. And then cases are still selling. So cases, still seeing two sold yesterday. So these are still selling. As long as these continue to sell, it does help push Destined Rivals up more because there's just gonna be a lot of hype around cases. And if it gets to the point where people buy out like the bigger sellers, like Elegant Product at 2100, then yeah, these things might go up even more. I want to look at the bundle things. The bundles have been one of the cheapest ways to get Destined Rivals packs. I saw that the demand like has been rising lately, so still we're about the normal amount, about 40, and then 30 already sold today. But yeah, this one is just a little cheaper. It goes to $50. $50 is I don't feel like doing math, like 833 a pack. So 833 a pack is still pretty much in line with what we were saying before. So not really a drop in bundles. Didn't really expect one. Like people want to open the sets. Um, for the ETBs, they sold 14 yesterday, and it could go up to 100. That's kind of around the $100 mark. And then the PCTBs, 248 sold 3 yesterday, sold 3 the day before, sold 3 today. And I still see 260 in the horizon, but Illumination still has all these around 248, 249. So if you want to pick up these, thank Illumination for keeping the price a little low. Also some case data. So there has been some ETB case sales. So another one sold yesterday. Kind of makes sense because when you divide by 10, it's actually cheaper by the case, at least for these prices over here. Case prices have, it's pretty funny because you suddenly see them rise. Or was that the other one? But you see 900 goes to 920 to 970. So this is 970 is kind of the normal price recently. And then this one's interesting because I don't think there's a lot of these good. Like they don't usually reprint these that much because these are for pre-release. But these have been sold. This had 5 sold the other day, so someone bought but a bunch of them. Policy for long term. I think this is where the price increase rose. You see 500 to 470 to 500, and there's only 3 on the market. So some people must be holding these for long term. Our Paldean Fates, so bundles returned back to $70, so the up is $1.75. But what I've noticed that pack prices have suddenly gone up about $1, which is pretty significant. So, price per pack wise, for some reason the packs are sometimes a lot of times more expensive than booster bundles. It's a really weird phenomenon because booster bundles are really good investments, but it keeps happening. That's kind of keeps happening. So when I look at the prices, first of all, a lot of the packs are actually plus $13 again. That's where Paldean Fates was like I don't know if a month or two ago when I first started tracking it. But yeah, there are some around 1220 and then 1230. So that's about I don't know this much. This isn't Putty and Fates. So there's only about 36 packs around 11.20, 11.30, and we can jump all the way to 12.75. So yeah, these pack prices are rising quite a bit. Paldean Fates bundles, they sold 15 yesterday, 5 today, and yeah, we're getting to 71 and then 71.50. It seems to be a little slow, but it seems like we're heading to. I do see 75 at the bottom, but we're heading to like the low 70s. For the ETBs, they've been selling pretty consistently, like two per day. Two sold yesterday, one sold today, and we're still trying to get to like the 220 to 225 mark. PCTBs, they sold one yesterday, and we're trying to get to like the 360 mark for that. And then bundle displays, which I've been talking about for a while, still continue to see a lot of good demand. So one sold yesterday, and I think a little more supply has appeared at 900. So our al cards. But yeah, you're probably gonna see some deals around like 800 to 850 like every now and then. But otherwise, the price will probably be pretty sustainable at 900 until Trading Card World kind of raises their price. Hidden Fates. So the price didn't really go up ever since yesterday's sale. That raised the price back to 425. Another three ETBs have been sold, selling for about I guess 420, or I don't know if they're shipping or whatever. There probably was, but now yeah, we're seeing um, there's only one left at 425 from a newer seller. And then we get to 430 and 435, 440. So don't be surprised if Hidden Fate starts to rise again. And then packs had 11 sold, which is actually the second most sold this month, so it doesn't sound like a lot. But yeah, a bunch of packs relative for Paldean Fates did sell yesterday. I mean, Hidden Fates. Okay, Spider-Man and Final Fantasy. So I'm only putting this up here because there's a recent kind of news about Spider-Man, about some legal disputes for Magic. And I assume if you care about Final Fantasy, you might care about this set happening. So there's been a lot of speculation about Spider-Man before about like if it would do well or not, because Spider-Man, it's like it's not as obvious to some people as Final Fantasy as such a good thing. But yeah, you definitely see demand numbers suddenly rise with the news. So essentially, there's some legal issues, and I think that like they can't use Spider-Man. They can't really print more Spider-Man supposedly. It seems like that's the case right now, and so people are buying up a lot. It's pretty risky, but like if it's true that they can't print anymore, this can possibly go like really really expensive, or it could go really really bad. Not really sure, but you see, people are buying only like 8 to 10, and then it shots up to like 5 or 6 times as much overnight. Like there was this big rise over here at 90, it kind of died down, and it kind of went back up for the collector boxes, and then for the play boxes, you see, because you see this huge amount, 131 suddenly sold today after about it was only about 30 per day, so about 4 times the amount of demand for that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm referencing this video from Rudy, Spider-Man Avatar, and yeah, so you should probably watch it if you're interested in that. So for Final Fantasy, the normal updates, the collector box cases are down $100. They just kind of keep dropping, and really the price is looking really good compared to collector boxes. Like it's really almost the exact same price. That's ridiculous. That you can get these for almost the same price, and you're seeing they're about $20 less price per pack. The loose packs are going for 138 now. They're up $3. That's really expensive. And they're reaching omega packs, which are down $4 back to 140. And then apparently playbox cases. I think they also said in the Rudy video that they're actually playboxes are gonna be reprinted in November or whatever. I don't know how much that's gonna be. I'm not the biggest Magic expert, so I'm just kind of funneling the advice over or the information over. But 12 collector boxes sold yesterday, and the band's still pretty good, but we're still just kind of stuck around the $1,400 mark. Cases are there's this one seller here for 84. I think it goes 85. Yeah, a lot of like 84 to $8,700 boxes have been appearing all of a sudden. If it drops 8,000, that might be nice. So it might be, if you're looking for these, it might be a good time to pick it up once it does kind of reach a bottom. And then collector packs, yeah, MVP Sporting Games hasn't been selling, and because of that, the price has been free to run to 138. Which, if you look at the past videos, you'll see that the price was hovering over 138. Like after like the first couple, it was 138. So this has been the desired pack price all along, and even there's a big jump here to 148 for these. And you know that these just go down in supply, but ever since the price rise to 130s, demand has fallen to about 15 to 20 packs per day, which is honestly still pretty good. A lot of these, there's some sellers who have a bunch, like 15 at over here, but a lot of these are just selling 1 or 2 packs. So honestly, even with that amount of supply, you do flush it out pretty quickly. Um, But yeah, but it does make more sense open collector boxes and just sell the loose packs at this point sometimes. Um, Omega pack sold 10 yesterday, and yeah, it looks like just Jay Petro just listed a bunch of them, so six of them. Otherwise, he does go back to about 143, 145, 146. Japanese boxes sold one yesterday, and yeah, they're hitting the 730s. I don't know how low these will go, but yeah, they're hitting like 747. Now they're hitting the 735s. So these might also be good future pickups, but honestly, the English one's being opened way more. Play boxes sold more, so 50 sold yesterday, 40 sold today after the price drop. I think because of the reprint news, probably. And then play box cases, they've been selling more lately too. So three sold yesterday, six sold the day before. They also probably because they've been dropping. There's some. They were heading toward 1400 and now they're back to like below 1300. And then these skip bundles, they sold about eight yesterday, and they're still really keeping strong around $200. All right, Black Bolt White Flare. So the PCTB Black Bolt went down a lot, 18. I think just one cheaper seller listed them. Posters are back up to 40, which is actually really good. So you're seeing actually demand kind of rise. Like these were the really cheap pack options, 750 to $8 a pack, and now they're rising back. You see like there's not a lot of arbitrage opportunity. Like ETB is actually the cheapest option on this list here for price per pack, which is pretty surprising. Usually I'm just some more arbitrage. So I want to look at that for posters. Even for White Flare, the cheapest you can get is ATBs for 933 a pack, and they're the cheapest option. Um, Versus, I guess like binders, a half extra binder, but even bundles are more expensive. So I want to just look at that. So first of all, the PCTB, yeah, it's been selling around five ish per day, something a little more. But there's a cheaper one over here, 165. Otherwise, it goes back to about 180 to 184. I want to look at those posters. So these poster collections, just a really cheap option. I don't really track the maintenance displays anymore, but yeah, I see 30 sold. Yeah, about 29 sold yesterday. It's been selling about 30 per day. Yeah, these have suddenly risen. So yeah, maybe like it kind of slows down. Maybe there is a lot less out there, and people do like opening the set more. Otherwise, there hasn't been much news with this, but yeah, it slows. It's really surprising that this suddenly jumped up. There's not a lot of supply at 42, which is pretty surprising. Um, so the normal updates, so Black Bolt ETBs, 37 sold yesterday. It's been selling kind of around 20 to 40 per day. I guess maybe around 30 or 40. For the bundles, they're not released yet. Four sold yesterday, five sold today. Pack prices should probably drop once booster bundles release. They're releasing on in about a week, so that will help. Binders, they sold eight yesterday. So binders price per pack wise also aren't the worst pickup. Like it's only about 30 cents more per pack. Not really that bad for the binder, which has some value. ETBs for White Flare sold 25, so it is dropping down from like the 30s, like the 20s now. For PCTBs, only selling about three per day nowadays. Sometimes up to five. Binders, bundles sold seven yesterday, nine today. So demand's kind of rising for those, and then binders sold about 12 yesterday. So it's being around like 7 to 10 is pretty normal. All right, right together. So the ETBs are down about $5. The PCTBs rose to 130. I think that might be a new recent high. It's been trying to get there for a while. The cases went up $4, so now yeah, we're still hugging the 225 mark per booster box pretty closely. Case did sell, which is good because cases are kind of what helped trade together really rise. So two of them actually sold yesterday, which is really good, around the 1350. So that kind of trims down the supply, and now there's about five of them left around 1350 or 1355, and then we go 1370, which will help. The other case is still around 1425, and didn't have any sales in the last 2 days. For the booster boxes, they are selling about. They sold five yesterday. They sell about 3 to 5 per day, and how much supply is until still trying to get to like the 227, 228 mark, even 230. This is about 230. All these cells only have one, which is good. Like there's not like an excess supply. Poke Connect has 15 at 29, so that might be the next target price points. And then for the other ones, so one sold for the $250 booster boxes, and still a good amount of supply here. I really wonder if these are actually not enhanced boxes, but yeah, so a lot of people budget about 250 now. For TBs, they went down and sold only 4, so it's kind of normal, it's a little lower maybe. And I could go back to 83 pretty quickly. For the PCTBs, they rose to 130 finally. 2 sold yesterday, 4 sold today, and still, I mean, it could go to like 132, 133. That's kind of next price targets. And then booster bundles, they sold quite a bit more, 17. That's actually like the third most or fourth most amount this month, so that's a good number of bundles sold. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.